I find the trailhead just after dawn. The map I sketched 3 weeks ago is already worn at the creases, but I don't really need it anymore. I've made this climb 4 times now, scouting, measuring, imagining. The path isn't a path at all, just a series of deer trails that weave upward through dense forest, over moss-covered stones, past fallen trees that look like they've been down for decades. The air is cold enough that I can see my breath. My pack is heavy with tools, rope, a tarp. The real materials will come later, once I know this is possible. It takes nearly 2 hours to reach the ridgeline. My legs burn, the forest opens up suddenly, and there it is. The cliff I've been thinking about for weeks. A granite shelf jutting out over the valley like a natural balcony. And beyond it, maybe 300 feet away across empty air, at the waterfall, it drops from somewhere high above, a white ribbon cutting through the rock face, disappearing into mist below. The sound reaches me even from here, constant, like distant thunder that never stops. The wind carries spray across the gap. If I stand at the edge and reach out, I can feel moisture on my fingertips. I set my pack down and walk the perimeter of the clearing. It's larger than I remembered, flat enough, protected on 3 sides by the rising slope of the mountain, open to the south where the waterfall faces me. There are old-growth trees here. Douglas fir, I think, though I'm still learning, their trunks thick and straight. The ground is a mix of stone and dark soil, decades of pine needles packed down into something almost solid. I kneel and dig my fingers in. It's cold but not frozen, workable. This is the spot. I've known it since the first time I stood here, but now it feels real. I'm going to build a cabin here, not just shelter, a home. A place with real walls, a real roof, a fireplace. And an outdoor shower right there at the cliff's edge, where I can stand under cold mountain water and watch the waterfall across the void. The idea sounds insane when I say it out loud, which is why I don't say it out loud. I just think it, alone up here with the wind and the water. I pull out my notebook and start sketching. The cabin will face south, maximizing the view, maybe 12 feet by 16. High enough to stand in comfortably, a covered porch. The shower platform will extend past the cabin's footprint, cantilevered over the drop, with a simple privacy wall on 3 sides and nothing but air and waterfall on the 4th. I can already see it. And the first challenge is obvious. Everything I need, every log, every tool, every pound of material, has to come up that trail. There's no road, no way to drive anything even close. It's all on my back or nothing. I spend the rest of the day marking trees. I need logs for the walls, straight, uniform, not too thick to handle alone. I find a stand of young firs about a 1/4 mile downslope. They're 30, maybe 40 feet tall, 8 to 10 inches thick. Perfect. I mark 12 trees with bright orange tape. Tomorrow I'll bring the chainsaw. The hike down feels faster. My mind is already working through the build sequence. Foundation first. I'll need to level the ground, maybe dig down to bedrock in places. Then the sill logs, the floor joists, the subfloor, walls going up 1 round at a time. And the roof will be the hardest part, getting beams up there alone, securing them against the wind that must scream across this ridge in winter. But I've built roofs before. I can do this. By the time I reach my truck, the sun is low. My shoulders ache pleasantly. I'm already thinking about tomorrow, day 3. I carry the chainsaw up in pieces, the power head in my pack, the bar and chain wrapped in canvas and tied to the outside. It takes 3 trips total. Chainsaw, fuel, oil, wedges, a felling axe, rope. I'm drenched in sweat by the time everything is staged at the clearing. The temperature has dropped overnight. There's frost on the rocks in the shade. I start with the tree I marked closest to the build site. I check the lean, clear the brush around the base, plan the full path. The chainsaw starts on the 2nd pull. The sound is obscene up here, a mechanical scream that sends birds scattering. I make the face cut, then the back cut, driving wedges as I go. The tree creaks, leans and falls exactly where I want it. The impact shakes the ground. Silence rushes back in after I kill the saw. Just wind and waterfall again. I limb it quickly, cutting away the branches, leaving a clean log. Then I measure and mark 16 feet from the base. The trunk is straightest here, most uniform. I make the cut, and the log section rolls free. It's heavy, 200 pounds, maybe more. I rock it, test the weight. I can move it, but barely. I spend the rest of the day felling and bucking. By sunset, I have 8 logs cut and delimbed, lying parallel on the slope. My hands are numb from the saw's vibration, my ears ring. I eat cold food from my pack and watch the waterfall turn gold in the last light, then grey, then invisible. The sound never stops. The next phase is brutal. I rig a rope system, a simple block and tackle anchored to a tree near the clearing. I drag each log uphill, 20 feet at a time, repositioning the anchor, pulling, resting, pulling again. The logs catch on rocks, on stumps, on nothing at all. I learn to read the terrain, to find the path of least resistance. Some logs take an hour to move 100 feet. I don't rush. Rushing gets you hurt out here. It takes 6 days to get all 12 logs to the site. 6 days of pulling rope until my palms bleed, of wedging logs over obstacles, of slow, patient progress. When the last log finally rolls into the clearing, I sit down hard and just stare at them. 12 raw logs, bark still on, one covered in scratches and dirt. They don't look like much, but they're here. The hard part is done. I give myself a day off. I hike up with just water and a tarp and spend the afternoon at the cliff's edge, watching the waterfall. The mist creates rainbows in the afternoon sun. I can see the pool at the bottom now, a long way down. Turquoise water, surrounded by black stone. I imagine standing in the shower I'm going to build, looking at this. The thought makes me smile. Foundation work starts on day 10. I need the cabin floor to be level, which means the ground beneath it needs to be level. I use a long straight edge and a level, working section by section, scraping away soil with a flat shovel, adding gravel where the ground dips. In some spots I hit granite 6 inches down, in others the soil goes deeper. Or I dig post holes at each corner and at intervals along the long walls, 2 feet deep, filled with gravel and tamped hard. I cut short sections of log and set them as piers, checking and rechecking with the level. This part is tedious, invisible, but it matters more than anything that comes after. The sill logs go down on day 14. These are the first logs of the cabin itself, the base that everything else will sit on. I peel the bark first, satisfying work, sliding a draw knife under the cambium layer, pulling long strips that curl and fall away. The wood beneath is pale and clean. I cut notches at the corners, saddle notches that lock the logs together. The first corner takes me 2 hours to get right. The second takes 40 minutes. I'm learning. I set the sill logs on the piers, check them for level in both directions. I shim where needed. Then I drill down through the logs into the piers and drive rebar pins to lock everything together. The wind picks up as I work. I can feel the cabin's footprint now, the space it will occupy. It's starting. Floor joists next. I brought milled lumber up for this. 2x8s, carried on my shoulder 3 at a time over multiple trips. I notch the sill logs to receive them, set them 16 inches on center, toenail them in place. The geometry is satisfying. Clean lines, right angles, everything plumb and square. I cover the joists with 3/4 inch plywood, screwing it down tight. Now I have a platform to work from, a real floor. The walls go up slowly. I'm working alone, which means I need systems. I roll each log onto the platform using a ramp made from smaller poles. Then I use cant hooks to lever it into position. The logs are rough, imperfect. I need to scribe each one to match the contour of the log beneath it, then cut a groove so they nest together tightly. I'm using a technique called chinkless construction. The logs fit so close that there's no gap for wind. It's slow work. Each log takes half a day to fit, cut, and set. I cut windows as I go. Rough openings for now, I'll frame them properly later. The chainsaw work is delicate here, cutting square notches out of round logs. I measure 3 times, cut once. Sawdust piles up on the floor. The cabin smells like fresh cut fir, sharp and resinous. By day 22, the walls are chest high. I'm working from a ladder now, lifting logs higher. My shoulders and back are constantly sore. I've developed calluses on top of calluses. But there's a rhythm to it. Wake before dawn, hike up as the light comes, work until my body won't work anymore, hike down in twilight. Sleep hard, repeat. The walls reach full height on day 28, 7 feet at the lowest point, 8 feet at the peak. I've built in a slight slope for the roof. I stand inside the cabin for the first time, looking up at open sky through the log walls. The space feels right, small enough to heat, large enough to live in. The window openings frame the waterfall perfectly. Then the weather changes. I wake up on day 29 to rain hammering my tent. Not a shower, a storm. By the time I reach the clearing, everything is soaked. The logs are slick. The floor is covered in standing water. I spend the day just covering what I can with tarps, weighing them down with rocks. As the wind tries to rip everything away, I'm drenched within minutes, shivering within an hour. The rain lasts 3 days. I can't work. I sit in my tent and listen to it drum on the fabric, wondering if the foundation is washing away, if the logs are shifting. On the 3rd day, the rain stops, but clouds hang low. I hike up expecting disaster. The cabin is fine, the water drained away. The sill logs didn't move, the walls are still plumb. I feel a surge of something, pride maybe, or relief. This thing I'm building is solid. It can take a beating. The roof is next, and it's the part I've been dreading. I need to get heavy beams up to the top of the walls, set them precisely, and secure them well enough that they won't blow away in the next storm. I cut 4 ridge beams from the straightest logs I can find, 8 inches thick and 18 feet long. Each one weighs close to 300 pounds. I build a ramp system using poles and rope. I winch the first beam up inch by inch, repositioning the tackle, pulling, checking, pulling again. It takes 4 hours to get it to the top of the wall. I balance it there, one end resting on the front wall, one on the back. Then I climb up and use a cant hook to roll it into the notch I've cut for it. When it drops into place, solid and secure, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. 3 more beams, same process. By the end of the day, my arms are shaking. But the ridge is set, the skeleton of the roof exists. Rafters go faster. I mill them from smaller logs, 3 inches thick, running from ridge to wall at regular intervals. I cut birds' mouth notches where they sit on the wall logs, ensuring they won't slide. The angles have to be perfect, or the roof won't shed water. I use a speed square and a handsaw, checking each cut twice. By day 35, the rafter frame is complete. I can see the roofline now, the shape the cabin will have against the sky. I deck the roof with more plywood, overlapping the sheets, screwing them down tight. Then comes the roofing itself. I brought rolls of peel and stick membrane, heavy, waterproof, designed for this. I lay it in courses from bottom to top, overlapping each row, smoothing out bubbles, making sure every seam is sealed. The work is finicky but meditative. The waterfall provides constant background noise. On top of the membrane, I add metal roofing, corrugated panels in dark green. They're light enough to carry up, but strong enough to handle snow load. I screw them down with special fasteners that have rubber washers. The sound of the drill echoes across the valley. When the last panel is set, I climb down and look at what I've built. It looks like a cabin now, a real structure. Walls, roof, windows. I can almost see myself living in it. The door is simple, rough planks I mill from a log held together with horizontal bracing. I hang it on strap hinges I packed up in pieces. It swings smooth and closes tight. I install a simple latch. Standing inside with the door closed is a strange feeling. I'm sealed in, protected. The wind is suddenly muted. The waterfall is still there, but softer now. I spend the next week on finishing work. I chink the gaps between logs with a mix of mortar and oakum, packing it tight. I frame the windows properly and install simple glass panes. I build a small fireplace in the corner, river stone mortared together, a firebox lined with firebrick I hauled up in my pack. The chimney goes up through the roof, flashed carefully so it won't leak. I build a sleeping platform along one wall, storage shelves along another. A small table. 1 chair. That's all I need. The shower is the final piece. I frame a platform extending 8 feet out from the cabin's side, cantilevered over the cliff. The joists are anchored deep into the cabin's structure, bolted through the logs. I deck it with cedar, tight spacing so water drains through. I build walls on 3 sides for privacy, leaving the waterfall side open. For the water, I rig a gravity system, a 50-gallon tank on the cabin roof, fed by a hose I'll run to a spring I found uphill. A simple valve controls the flow. The water will be cold. A mountain cold. Perfect. I test the shower on day 49. I fill the tank with buckets, hauling water from the spring. I step onto the platform in bare feet. The cedar is smooth under my feet, already weathering grey. I turn the valve. Cold water hits my shoulders, takes my breath away. I stand there, shivering, laughing, looking across the gap at the waterfall. The mist blows across. The sun is setting behind me, turning everything gold. This is what I came here to build. This exact moment. I spend the first night in the cabin on day 50. I bring up my sleeping bag, some food, a bottle of whiskey. I build a fire in the new fireplace. It draws perfectly. Smoke goes up the chimney, heat radiates into the room. I cook a simple meal on a camp stove. The cabin is dark except for firelight. The logs glow orange. Outside, the waterfall is a constant presence, invisible now but always there in sound. I lie in my sleeping bag on the platform bed and stare up at the ceiling. The rafters cast shadows. I built every inch of this. Cut the trees, hauled the logs, shaped the notches, raised the walls, set the roof. My hands did this. The thought is almost overwhelming. I've built things before, sheds, decks, additions to other people's houses. But this is different. This is mine. A home I made with my own hands in a place nobody else even knows exists. I wake up before dawn. The cabin is cold. The fire died in the night. I rekindle it, feed it small sticks until it catches. Then I step outside. The sky is that deep blue that comes just before sunrise. Stars are still visible. The waterfall is a pale shape across the void. I walk to the shower platform. I turn the valve, step under the stream. The water is shockingly cold. Every nerve lights up. I force myself to breathe, to stay under it. Slowly my body adjusts. The cold becomes clarity. I'm wide awake, intensely present, aware of every sensation. The water on my skin, the stone under my feet, the waterfall across the gap, the sky lightening above. The sun breaks the horizon, light spills across the valley, hits the waterfall first, turns it into silver and gold. I watch from the shower as the world wakes up. A raven calls from somewhere above. The wind shifts, carries spray across the platform. I'm standing naked on a cliff in the middle of nowhere, taking a shower, watching one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I built the place I'm standing. The absurdity and the perfection of it hit me at the same time. I turn off the water and dry off with a rough towel. My skin is pink from the cold. I feel more alive than I have in years. Inside, the cabin is warm now. The fire has heated the small space. I make coffee on the camp stove, drink it standing at the window, looking out at the view I've been staring at for 50 days. It never gets old. I spend the rest of the morning just being in the space, adjusting things, moving the chair to catch better light, testing the shelf heights, building a small wood rack beside the fireplace. These are the details that turn a structure into a home. They matter in ways that foundations and walls don't. By midday, I'm working on the approach trail. I've been scrambling up the same rough path for weeks, but now I want something better, something sustainable. I clear brush, move rocks, define a real trail. I build steps in the steep sections, logs set into the hillside, backfilled with gravel. It's satisfying work, making access easier. Maybe someday I'll bring someone else up here. Maybe not. Either way, the trail should be good. I hike down that evening as the sun sets. I turn back at the ridgeline and look at the cabin one more time. It's small against the mountain, but it's there. Smoke rises from the chimney. The metal roof catches the last light. I can just see the shower platform extending out over the drop. It looks impossible from here, like it shouldn't exist. But it does. Because I made it exist. The drive home feels strange. Pavement and stoplights and people. I'm thinking about the cabin, about whether the fire is still burning, whether rain is coming, whether I secured the door latch properly. Part of me is still up there. Part of me will always be up there. I go back 3 days later, and then a week after that. And then I stop thinking of it as going back, and start thinking of it as going home. I bring books, better cooking gear, warmer blankets. I split firewood and stack it under the porch overhang. I improve the water system, running a better line from the spring to the roof tank. I add rain gutters that feed into a second tank. Backup water, always available. Winter comes. The first snow falls in early November. I'm at the cabin when it starts, big flakes that fall straight down in the still air. They accumulate on the roof, on the porch rail, on the shower platform. The waterfall keeps falling, indifferent to the cold. I build the fire high and watch the snow through the window. The cabin is warm, the walls I built are tight. No drafts, no leaks. Just solid shelter against the weather. I stay for 3 days during that storm. I read, I cook. I take freezing showers just to feel the shock of it. I split wood and carry it inside. I watch the snow pile up, then stop. Then the sky clear to reveal stars so bright they seem artificial. I sleep deeply, wake naturally. There's no schedule here, no obligations, just the rhythm of fire and food and sleep and the waterfall's constant song. On the third morning, I'm standing in the shower at dawn, steam rising from my skin into the frozen air, and I realize something. I came up here to build a cabin. That was the goal, learn the skills, prove I could do it, make something real with my hands. And I did that. The cabin is done. It's beautiful and functional and mine. But that's not why I keep coming back. And I keep coming back because of how I feel when I'm here. The noise in my head goes quiet. The constant low-grade anxiety that follows me through regular life, deadlines, emails, traffic, expectations, just evaporates. Up here, there's only what's in front of me. Wood that needs splitting, a fire that needs tending, water to haul, simple problems with simple solutions, and the shower. God, the shower, standing on that platform with nothing between me and a 300-foot drop except morning mist, and the knowledge that the floor I'm standing on is solid because I built it. That feeling never fades. Every time is the first time. The cold water, the waterfall, the sky, the stone. It resets something in me, reminds me what's real. I built this place thinking it was about construction, about proving something to myself. But it turns out I built a refuge, a place where I can be simple, where the only measure of a day is whether the fire stayed lit and whether I feel satisfied when I close my eyes. Where standing naked under cold water watching a waterfall at dawn is not eccentric or performative, but just the most natural thing in the world. The cabin will stand for years, maybe decades if I maintain it. The logs are good, the roof is sound, the foundation is solid on bedrock. I built it to last, but even if it doesn't, even if a storm takes the roof or a tree falls on it, or the platform finally gives way, it will have been worth it, because I'll still have the memory of building it. The 50 days of hauling logs and cutting notches and problem-solving and adapting, the satisfaction of fitting pieces together, the moment when it transformed from materials into shelter, the first fire, the first night, the first shower at dawn. I turn off the water and stand there dripping, looking at the waterfall. The sun is fully up now. The valley below is filling with light. Somewhere down there is the life I left to come up here. Work, obligations, the whole complicated machinery of modern existence. I'll go back to it. I always do. But now I have this. A cabin on a cliff, a shower in the sky, a place I built with my own hands where the world makes sense. I dry off and go inside. The fire is burning low. I feed it another log and watch the flames climb. Through the window the waterfall falls. It fell yesterday and the day before and the day before that. It will fall tomorrow. Constant, indifferent, beautiful. I built a cabin to stand beside it. And in doing so, I built something in myself. Something I didn't know was missing until it was there. The knowledge that I can make things that matter, that I can work with my hands and solve problems and create shelter and beauty in wild places, that I don't need much to be satisfied. Just good work, clean water, a warm fire, a view that never gets old. I pour another cup of coffee and sit in the chair by the window. Outside, the world continues. Inside, I'm home,